In this video, we're taking a look at Go Collect's hottest comics for the week of April 15th. You know those second appearances we like to talk about? Looks like they're finally catching on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we're taking a look at Go Collect's hottest comics for the week of April 15th. Now, for those who don't know, Go Collect puts out a weekly article that analyzes the hottest selling comic books based on movement and eBay sales data. And so it's always really fun to take a look at this with you guys. And who knows, maybe Bry's comments and your boy Swaggle actually may have some influence in the market. But before I get into the video, if you guys could drop me a like or a comment or subscribe, if you're enjoying the content, help support the channel, do one of those things, and I would appreciate it. All right, with that said, let's take a look at this week's article and see what the 5 hottest books are. Of course, these articles are always written by Matt Tuck, a great contributor to Go Collect. I highly recommend you go check out the actual article, which I will put a link into the description. But I will give you guys my analysis. And one of the cool things about this week is that there are actually a couple books that myself and Bry's Comics have actually kind of talked about in these last couple videos we put out just the other week. So who knows, maybe we had some influence. But let's take a look at the article now here. And as you can see, it is the hottest comics. Jennica, Archangel, and Miles lead the way. So like I like to do with all of these articles, I like to start here at the bottom. So let's talk about the number 5 spot. And that is actually going to be Static #1 Collector's Edition, up 919 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this is the first appearance of the character in the DC universe known as Static. Now, I always let you guys know that I am not a big DC guru in any kind of way, so I only know Static from a distance. I don't know too much about his character, but one of the reasons that I think that this book in particular has gotten so hot over the last couple weeks or so is because there was an announcement that Michael B. Jordan, who, you know, of course famously played Killmonger in the MCU, announced that he will be developing with Warner Brothers a Static superhero DC film. So obviously the market's going to be the market, and speculators are going to speculate when you get some kind of news like that. So everybody had been hopping onto this book. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting as I kind of did some research is I found out that Static actually is one of the first, I believe, black superheroes to ever get an animated cartoon. I could be wrong with that, but I believe that is historic to his his character. And you know, he could be a character that, you know, DC wants to like put out there. You know, we obviously the comic book companies want to have diversity. They want to have inclusion with different superheroes. So, you know, maybe Static is a superhero that they want to sort of elevate into, you know, kind of like their main roster within the pop culture space. And I think that that would be a really good move for them. And I don't know if it's known that, like, if Michael B. Jordan is just a producer on the film or if he himself is planning on playing Static. I mean, from what I can gather, it seems like Static is more of like a teenager type of kid. So I don't know if Michael B. Jordan would be the right fit for that particular character. But regardless, it looks like they are developing this film and everybody started jumping on this book. So as you can see here in the numbers, there was a sale here in April that went at the 9.8 level for $230 and a couple other sales here at 9.6, $110. So definitely a book that has been heating up. And, you know, this one is really interesting because this is one of those books where there are actually different variants and different editions. And this particular one here, as you can see, Collector's Edition, is the one that people were jumping on and the book that got the hottest over the course of this last week. All right, let's move on now to the 4th pick here. And the 4th pick is actually going to be Thor, number 338, newsstand, up 929 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this is actually the second appearance of Beta Ray Bill. That is right. You can see there, Beta Ray Bill, one of people, I feel like the comic book collecting communities, like Beta Ray Bill in some kind of way is like, I feel like he's the people's champ of the comic book collectors. For whatever reason, everybody loves Beta Ray Bill and everybody is, you know, hoping that we're going to see him come to the MCU and show up in Thor: Love and Thunder. And for that reason, Thor 337 has always been a hot book, Beta Ray Bill's first appearance. And for, you know, as you see with those books, when they start to get really, really high into the numbers and become unattainable for people, people move to the next best thing, which are these second appearances. And in this particular case, this here, 338, would be the second appearance of Beta Ray Bill. And I got to give a shout out to my guy, Bry's Comics, who, of course, we did our second appearance collaboration video just the other week. week. And I'm going to talk about one of the books that showed up in that video, but he also did another video on his channel, which was talking about second appearances, and he named this particular one right here, Thor 338, second appearance of Beta Ray Bill. So, hey, maybe Bry's got a little bit of influence there in the market, and for that reason, maybe there's some movement of people moving to this book. But as we dig into the numbers here, you'll see there was a 9.8. Actually, Go Collect definitely behind on their listing prices, but as you can see here, there are sales here in April. So definitely a book that has been really heating up. And this is like a cool one because not only is it just the second appearance of the Beta Ray Bill character, but I feel like this is just sort of that cover homage to, when Thor was battling Hercules. So this one is a cool cover swipe of that moment. And, the book 337, 338, and 339 feels like a trilogy with the Beta Ray Bill character. Like you kind of want to have them all. It's similar to the way that, Incredible Hulk 180 through 182 sort of feel like a trilogy of books where you own like the entire first appearance of Wolverine. These three books with Beta Ray Bill kind of feel the same for me because it has a very specific storyline that it follows. But number 4 on the list of this week, Thor 338, up 929 spots. All right, let's move on now to the third book. And the third book is a really cool one here. This is Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, up 939 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, we talked about this in our second appearances video just the other week. This is the second appearance of Miles Morales. And, Bri gave a great analysis, and we were talking about this, how this is a book that, in compared to Ultimate Fallout 4, this one was very, very undervalued, considering that, it's still a great second appearance, and it has like one of the more kind of iconic dynamic covers that is now sort of equated to the Miles Morales cover. So this one definitely heated up over this last week, and I think this is definitely an interesting story. And as you can see here into the numbers, we dig in, a 9.8 sold for $1,350 back here in April. And you can see actually there's tons of sales in April. Here, April. But you can see there's a big difference between the 9.8 at $1,300 and the 9.6 at $375. So this one is a very, very cool comic book. Of course, Miles Morales being, one of the A-tier superheroes that came out in this modern age. I'm of the opinion that Miles Morales is here to stay. I think that his animated movie was such an amazing, incredible event film for him as a character. I can't wait to see the second one that they do. Will we see him in the MCU? Who really knows? But as far as him as a character, being that he's got a PlayStation game, things like that, the sky's the limit for this guy. And I think that this book will continue to prove itself, or at least Ultimate Fallout 4 will continue to prove itself to be sort of the Hulk 181 of the modern generation. And as a result, when that book gets out of reach for a lot of people, everyone's going to jump to the second appearance, which is, of course, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man number 1. All right, let's move on now to the next book here. And the next one is a really cool one. This one has a very special place in my heart. This is X Factor number 24, up 946 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this is the first appearance of Angel becoming Archangel. What we know him today, having been transformed by Apocalypse and turned into the Angel of Death, as we would call him from this moment on. But what's really interesting about this particular book is that for a long time, this was sort of known as being his first full appearance as Archangel. And you can see him there on the cover. And this was sort of like a great, very special collector's item. But there has been some information that has come out recently that X Factor number 23 has an argument that it might be actually the first appearance of the character known as Angel. So there is some controversy out there. Of course, Go Collect here refers this as the first appearance of Archangel. And I think the community also feels that that is the case. But regardless, this is still a great book. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that controversy, if you know about it. Is this considered his first full appearance, or would this be his first cover and second full appearance? Let me know what you guys think. But regardless, over the last few weeks, we've seen that the X-Men books and the X Factor books have really, really heated up. Everybody is starting to get their hands on all those X-Men keys because, we know it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before Feige starts to bring X-Men into the MCU. And for that reason, all of the X-Men books have been heating up so much over these last few months. And so I guess that would be, X Factor number 24's turn now, where everybody wants to get their hands on the Archangel book. And this is just a great sort of Copper Age book to get your hands on. This one of the reasons why I think this one is so special to me is, I've always sort of loved the Archangel character. Just, as a kid, I always just thought he had like an amazing look, great artistic design. But when I got back into comic collecting, in the 2017 around that time, one of the first key books I bought was, of course, my first appearance of Apocalypse. But one of the second keys that I bought for myself was actually this X Factor number 24 first cover or full appearance of Archangel, whatever you want to call it. So this one is really, really cool. For me, very, very emotionally connected to this one, and so I think that it's really cool that this one is heating up. But enough about that. Let's dig into the numbers. You can see here a 9.8 selling for $270 here in April. There was also a 9.6 selling for the 100, and you can see here, look at that, April. So look at that, all the high-end grades definitely selling here in April, everybody wanting to get their hands on this book. So X Factor number 24 is the second hottest comic of the week. All right, let's move on to the hottest comic of the week, which is actually going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 95, second print, up 960 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this is actually, I believe, the first appearance of Jennika, as you can see here right there. Now, I'm not someone who knows too much about the Jennika character with regards to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the lore that surrounds that. But what I do know is that all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books have really heated up in this last, 6 months or so. We know about Last Ronin having a factor. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures number 1 has been a super, super hot book. And then the original set of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles books that came out in the 80s, those have been breaking record sales. So I think that there is just this continued fervor for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books and the properties that relate to it. And this particular one seems to be, as Matt had pointed out in the article here, one of the reasons, of course, this is a great, it's the first time we see Jennika in the turtle form, but at the same time, it is the second print, and I guess it's very, very rare to find this book. So the scarcity has had a big factor in this one becoming sort of the hottest comic and people wanting to jump on it. But with that said, there's still, it's not that the prices for this have gone to the moon or anything like that. It's still a very, very attainable book. But as far as the volume of sales that have happened over this last week, there seems to be a lot of people wanting to jump on this. And as we dig into the numbers here, you'll see there are 9.8s selling around that $70 mark here in April. So very, very attainable for a book like this. But regardless, it is one that there's been a large volume and attraction to wanting to get their hands on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books. And for that reason, it is the hottest comic for the week of April 15th. Well, that is all I have for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any of these books? I'm super, I always feel like I'm very excited when books that I just have an emotional attachment to, like an X Factor 24, get really hot. I don't know, it just feels very validating. Do you guys understand what I mean by that? Even though it's a book that I don't really care if the value goes up, I just like to know that the books that I like are also popular. So I think that one's really cool, that X Factor 24 is jumping up. And then I think it's actually really cool too that we see this Miles Morales book. I mean, I wonder if our video had any effect into the market. I can't think, I can't give us too much credit. I think maybe it's just sort of, everyone starts to think alike, when we're talking about comic books in the comic collecting space. So maybe we just thought of a cool second appearance, and also the market was thinking about it too. And so it's really more of a coincidence. But anyways, that is all I have for this video. Drop me a like, comment, or subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.